Made to race hard, strong yet elegant, fast and powerful, everything a boat should be. The cutting edge of boat design, the biggest, the strongest, the most fabulous. This year, the emerald waters of the North Sardinian coast have been blessed with two extraordinary regattas, held back-to-back. The small harbour of Porto Cervo will play host to the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup, and just one day later, 116 of Nautor's swan boats will be tested by the waters of Costa Smeralda. The term maxi comes from the 1970s, when ocean racing started to become more organised. Boats that pushed the limits of size and sail were given the maximum handicap rating. Originally, maxi yachts were built as pure racing machines, stripped of all creature comforts. As new technologies meant improved performance, the term maxi was adopted for boats that were simply large and luxurious. The largest yacht in the fleet is the 55-metre Adela. She's both new and very old. The original steel hull from 1903 was stripped and rebuilt. Models of her shape were extensively tank tested, and modern Spectra sails, some of the largest ever made, were designed for her with the benefit of wind tunnel technology. Relaunched 92 years after she first startled the sailing world, Adela was designed to be fast in her day and redesigned to be fast today. Adela represents a new direction for maxi yachts, the rebirth of interest in traditional sailing ships. Using modern construction techniques, and in some cases modern materials disguised to look old, these boats are all about style and grace. Mirror-varnished woodwork and gleaming brass, the 38-metre Hetairos is upstaging the larger Adela. After 3 races, she's recorded 2 firsts and a second place to lead the class. Coming from the stable of Neville Crichton's Shockwave boats, the new Alfa Romeo was launched last year. The New Zealand-flagged Alfa's first task was a tilt at the Rolex Sydney Hobart race record. But they would find that great Australian rivalry was not going to let them walk off with the silverware quite that easily. Bob Oatley launched Wild Oats to keep the title in Australia. The race record did fall, but tactics, not boat speed, played the biggest role, and it was Wild Oats' name on the trophy. They achieved a rare handicap and line honours victory, plus the new race record, a triple crown. We move ahead 9 months, and the world's 2 fastest Supermaxes are parked right next to each other here in Sardinia.
To see the 2 boats, the Alpha and Wild Oats, and even Morning Glory, I mean, they're all being sailed very well, and the owners have put a lot of time and effort into the preparation for the regatta, and the best man's going to win, I guess.
We take them very seriously as competitors, and if you had to weigh the 2 crews up, I think probably we may have an edge on Oates' crew.
Hasso Plattner's Morning Glory is another Super Maxi. The Max Z86 turbo sled, at 4 years old and nearly 4 metres smaller, Glory could find the newer, bigger boys tough to keep up with. But Morning Glory's crew is studded with top international big boat sailors, including Bao Becking, also fresh from ocean racing duties.
We're hoping for wind with leeward races because we can be a little smaller, so we're a little easier to maneuver and we accelerate a little quicker. So we're just hoping for one up and down day.
For race 1, however, the wind is light. Wild Oats gain the upper hand halfway up the first leg and hold their position throughout the 26-mile course to the finish. Alfa Romeo stick to them like glue and cross just over 30 seconds behind Oats, close enough behind to sneak the win on handicap. A great start for Alfa's guest helmsman Olympian Ben Ainsley.
The boat's great to drive. Obviously the canting keel gives it a lot of power, and even in very light conditions you're still going along at 12, 13 knots, which is just an amazing sensation, so they're a lot of fun.
The most radical development of maxi yachts has been in round-the-world ocean racing. The maxi class, which ruled the Whitbread races of the 1970s and 80s, has now developed into a 70-foot boat that can surf in the worst seas on the world's toughest oceans. The recent Volvo Ocean Race winner is here for the week, and after such a marathon race, ABN AMRO 1 and crew are looking forward to taking on the big sailing names on the larger and sleeker Super Maxis.
I don't think any of them know their boat as well as we know ours. You know, we've done 45-odd thousand miles in the thing now, so we know it pretty well, we know what it likes, but on the other hand, there's not much we can do about racing against them when it's only blowing 6 or 7 knots. You know, they're definitely optimised for this lighter air, so yeah, that's just a fact of life.
One of the most exciting Super Maxi yachts to be launched recently is Charles Brown and Bill Buckley's ocean racing sloop Maximus. Fitted with both a wing mast and retractable canting keel, Maximus was on a record-breaking mission when she arrived for the Maxi Cup last year. The handicap winner in the Transatlantic Challenge and line honours in the Fastnet, Maximus was ready to take on the best.
Up to then we'd had a good run, so we were quite happy with the how things were going, really. We were leading the race by a considerable amount, and we jibed on the bottom mark, and the mast came down. And so that was the end of our Sardinia week. Fortunately, it came down and just hopped over the side of the boat. It didn't do too much structural damage to the boat. You know, it was lucky that most of it was confined to the rig.
With the broken mast recovered from 40 metres down, work soon began to splice the shattered spar back together.
As you know, carbon fibre joins really well, and the rig is just as strong as it ever was, but we feel quite confident now that it can handle any sort of a breeze.
The second day is still, calm and hot. This time it's Alfa Romeo that claw their way to the front. Maximus and ABN AMRO both need a lot more wind than this before they can show their potential.
Come on guys, come on! Let's get some urgency on this yacht, eh?
Alfa Romeo make the most of avoiding the big wind holes and cross the line in first place. Wild Oats follow in behind, but drop to 4th place on corrected time.
Our boats, even though they look the same, are actually quite different. So they, you know, our boat has a deeper keel, bigger head sails, and we have a larger spinnaker area. So with those sort of 3 major differences, that's why we rate higher than Alfa Romeo. So we've got to give them about, you know, almost 2 minutes on a 3-hour race. It's a lot.
The light conditions have so far refused to make way for the fresh Mistral wind. The giant British J-class boat Velshida sailed a smart race over the 30-mile course on day 3. Velshida is the biggest, heaviest and oldest boat in the cruising class. Leading the fleet for most of the day, she was eventually reeled in just before the finish. Her result is good enough to take the top points, and close the gap on Filippo Farufini's Roma to just 1 point with 1 race to go. Maxi yacht racing has been a regular feature on the Porto Cervo sailing calendar since 1980. Of course, the gala dinner has been a highlight of the social calendar for just as long. The beautiful Cala di Volpe Hotel sets the scene. The voice of Lucio Dalla provides the perfect mood for the sailors to unwind and forget the battles on the leaderboard. The wind is still refusing to rise above 10 knots, and the race committee set windward-leeward courses for the racing class on day 4. This type of racing is all about accurate crew work, and Wild Oats put together a strong performance to take the win in the first race, a result which bumps Morning Glory into 3rd. The second windward-leeward race is a reversal of fortunes. A good start from New Zealand boat Alpha's Ben Ainsley leaves the rest of the fleet in their wake. But jibing to the bottom mark, the winch slips on Alpha, and Wild Oats pounce to grab the lead. Maximus just can't get the big sloop up to speed. At the finish, Wild Oats cross first, but Alfa Romeo is close on their heels, close enough to take another handicap win, putting them 4 points clear at the top. With 48 monster boats all trying to reach the dock as soon as they can, the harbour becomes a hive of activity. Buzzing through the incoming fleet at breakneck speed, it's the job of the marina staff to get these huge and valuable boats safely berthed and avoid a log jam.
My job is to work in the dinghy and give you some support to the boat when it's coming inside. It's not so easy because you have to stand up in the dinghy and do some difficult maneuverment. Sorridi! Candy camera!
Finally, the weather has turned. It's bright and clear, and the forecasters are predicting a breeze to build through the day. The beautiful Wally yachts complete their racing. 3 firsts and 2 second places give Magic Carpet Squared the title. The Spirit of Tradition class completed their racing with a win to Hetairos. The Maxi Cruisers came down to a race between old and new. Velshida make a navigation error to sail the wrong course, and Roma sail another perfect race to claim the title. This is the weather that the racing class Maxis have been waiting for, and the start is frenetic on board. Wild Oats have Morning Glory breathing down their neck in the points table, and Hasso Plattner's team are revelling in the fresh conditions. Alfa Romeo may be clear leader on the scoreboard, but Neville Crichton's team want the line honours as well. A jammed halyard makes for a messy spinnaker drop.
No room! No room! Turn left, pick up. Go early on the line. Yeah. Come on.
Wild Oats make their own uncharacteristic mistakes with a bad hoist at the windward mark.
Jump the higher! Jump the higher! Bounce it! No winch.
Morning Glory's race is a solid performance again. They keep within 2 minutes of Wild Oats to score top points and steal second place overall. Crossing the line just behind Wild Oats, it's Alfa Romeo to win the regatta. A consistent run of top results gives Neville Crichton's Alfa Romeo the Maxi Yacht Rolex Cup for 2006.
It's been a great regatta, but we never expected to be quite successful as we were. We knew we'd have a very good chance. I think at the end of the day, we sort of won it a bit easier than we expected.
"116 yachts representing 20 nations. This is an extraordinary turnout. Performance cruisers and racing yachts from 112 down to just 36 feet in length. With so many boats preparing to race, the process of measuring and rating them before the start keeps the race officials and crews busy from the moment they arrive in Porto Cervo. All these boats have one thing in common. They all come from the same factory. These are Nautor's Swan boats. This year, the Rolex Swan Cup has a party flavour. Nautor is celebrating 40 years, and nearly 1,900 boats have been built since 1966. The very first Swan ever made was the 36-foot Tarantella. She's still going strong today and is here racing in the Classic division. Tarantella is testament to the reliability and longevity of these special Finnish-built boats.
I think it was quite extraordinary to see Tarantella, the first swan ever built, next to the most advanced swans. You look at them together and you think of what kind of history has gone through in the yachting world and in Nautor, and how much glamorous history has gone by.
Swans are known for being reliable, sea-kindly boats, which are safe and fast. And that's been the philosophy of the company for many years. The new models are more technologically advanced, and they have an accent on performance and speed, although they're still very strong and safe. The quality of the finish is maintained and increased. I think it's shown on every fitting and every aspect of the construction. Not only the structure, but the installations as well.
This brand new Swan 100 maintains those traditions of reliability and performance. It also features all the latest advancements in sailing gadgetry and is beautifully finished in wood inside and out.
I think boats are like your children. You like them all.
It's in the One Design Swan 45 class of racing yachts that the fiercest competition is expected this week. They're racing mainly windward leeward courses, and with 30 boats in the fleet, the start line and mark roundings are intense. The remaining classes have started the regatta with a coastal race touring the beautiful islands of the Maddalena archipelago. Clear waters and idyllic sandy bays punctuate a startlingly barren landscape. The pink granite cliffs and rocky outcrops are a colourful reminder of one of the region's earliest exports. The rocks of Sardinia have been highly valued since ancient times. The cathedral complex of Pisa and also the Pantheon in Rome are both constructed of Sardinian stone. Even the base of the Statue of Liberty is made from stone shipped from the quarries of Sardinia. Today, huge slabs of flawless granite are cut from the mountainsides to clad modern high-rise tower blocks around the world. The same rock is used to build the town of Porto Cervo itself, blending perfectly with its natural surroundings. On the third day of racing, the course was set at a massive 76 miles, zigzagging its way through the islands. Blustery conditions dogged the fleet, ranging from 7 knots to 25 knots the entire way around the course. Peter Simon's boat Monsoon Jaguar made the most of the weather in the classic boat division to remain unbeaten on the water. Favonius is a Swan 80. Roy Heine called the tactics on the long race to help Favonius to a line honours victory in the Grand Prix class. The 601s put in a long day on the water. Artemis take another win. Their tactician Russell Coutts topping the moves from Moneypenny's D. Smith and Corleone's Paul Kayard. It had been 9.5 hours before the first Swan 45 would bring the tightly packed fleet home. DSK Comifin from Italy is holding the overall lead, though there are 3 American boats nipping at their heels with just 2 days left to race. Although there are only 4 boats in the Swan 601 class, the competition couldn't be tighter. The American boat Moneypenny, owned by James Schwartz, mounts a last-ditch challenge to reel in the 1-point lead of Torban Torquist's Artemis. Moneypenny, with star crew D. Smith and Mark Rudiger, get the better of Artemis and tactician Russell Coutts to win the final race. With both boats on 9 points and inseparable on countback, it comes down to a tiebreaker. Moneypenny, having won the last race, gets the title.
It's really a 2-year dream. I decided to take up racing and buy the 601, and the objective always for the crew was to come here and try to win this event. That worked out beautifully.
Finally, the much anticipated Mistral wind has arrived, and the Swan 45s are loving it. With discard races now coming into play, the pressure is back on the Italian boat DSK Comifin, who are leading the regatta by just 6 points. 3 American boats have been threatening all week, led by Vixen. And they know that a 6-point lead is fragile in a fleet of 30 boats. Keeping Vixen behind them is the main task for DSK skipper Danilo Salsi. And despite a good start, the pressure was still on as the crew battled to keep control on the downwind runs. By the finish, a 4th place across the line was a great result for DSK Comifin, as the challenging Vixen slipped to 9th on the water.
It was great that we had a Mistral day at the end of this week, so everybody coming from abroad can see how good, solid, strong wind can be down here. And yeah, you are afraid you might break something and you might break your weekend results, but to be honest, these boats are really strong and solid, so there are very little chance that you break something here in this 145 class.
It has been a wonderful event. We have had very good and fair racing. I think it's been one of the most exciting Swan Cups ever held. We had almost 120 boats and also 20 different nations represented here.
There are 4 winners of the Rolex Swan Cup this year. DSK Comifin and Moneypenny will share the trophy with a Swan 56 Aqua Equinox, winner of the Grand Prix class, and Jacobite, who got the honours in the Classics. Over 2 weeks, the sparkling waters of the Costa Smeralda have witnessed sailing from old to new boats, from sedate to simply sensational. The Maxes and the Swans have crowned another sparkling season of sailing.